Welcome once again to another episode of the only show where fashion and beauty and technology collide. The Skinny on Beauty, the straight story, and the real skinny with your skinny host here, Cheryl Hawley. Hey, Cheryl.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for the
compliment.
so much for joining us for another episode of The Skinny on Beauty. Today we're going to be covering how to cover your live events online, whether that be posting, sharing, shooting live video like we're doing today on 4 different platforms, or influencer marketing. I have 3 fabulous guests with me here today. Together they are a dynamic team when it comes to covering live events. Kathy Marino, my main guest here with OC Fashion Week, who's either tweeting or Instagramming away. And then we also have Kimberly with Amazing Lash Studios, and Rad, if you could see him.
Don't turn around.
Oh, okay, don't turn around.
Go off the mic. How long have you been doing
turn
this?
Around. Kathy's doing her own Instagram Live. I'm going to give a quick bio on her. She's the executive producer of OC Fashion Week, the Runway Fashion Week, and the founder of OC Fashion Council Advisory Board. OC Fashion Week covers luxury market of Orange County to the rest of the world to advocate for fashion tourism, runway designers, and executive retail businesses through various platforms, including their live coverage on Fashionista Now Boarding, a cable television show, which I had the honor of being on. Thank you so much for being with us today.
You're welcome. So excited to be here, Cheryl, and thank you for inviting all of us. We're so thrilled to do this radio show, and we love what you represent and everything that you're doing. So we're really excited to be here.
Thank you. Yes, I'm excited to have all of you here. So your background in event production, Kathy, is quite impressive. So therefore, in 2010, when you were approached to reconstruct the core production for OC Fashion Week, I'm sure nobody was surprised. So if you could share with us the inside story of how that went and what inspired you to produce the show.
Yeah, I mean, it was really, well, it caught me by surprise because at the time, my agency, which is Hot OC Traveler, which originally began, with a partnership with American Express Travel. I was adopted by them back in 2007, and at a particular location in Laguna Niguel. At the time, I had a really, really long name, and I was just basically doing a lot of public relations and emergency events. People would call me, and I would work covert operations to flip and reconstruct different events. And it just became my niche to do it under 6 weeks or less. I have no idea why. It might have something to do with me working in television because prior to that, I was an analyst for the Register, and then before that, working for the Ducks and the Angels, building broadcast logs in television. And when I was in San Diego, I was a research analyst for Univision and programming for Fox. And so I had gotten used to that adrenaline before social media came about, right? So now we're kind of in this new landscape where everybody's media, right? So at the time I was looking at success models, who was succeeding in media, and when the market crashed, it was Huffington Post at the time that was thriving, and because they were user-generated content, and that user-generated content was done through fulfillment of these Pied Pipers, these people that were leaders and innovators in their creative craft. Right. And so learning from that, I was just like, I was asked to do a Harper's Bazaar event, and I was so flattered.
Very cool.
Oh, it was very cool. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so, but there was a catch. They said, well, actually you have to use a different logo at this time because, this is going to be for editorial, so it's not really advertorial. And so I said, well, okay, then I'll change my company name. And it became Hot OC. And it wasn't to promote me as a Hot OC traveler. It was promote the fashionable traveler of Orange County. Now, during that time, I was also asked to do an event for an opera festival, and asked to do the market research for the city to present a festival. And when I did, that's when I was looking at consumer expenditures because that was my craft before, Right. I'm not one to go and sell just off the fly by the seat of my pants. I got to know the facts. What are we all about? And lo and behold, 2006 numbers, consumer expenditures, Applied Geographic Solutions, never forget, Scarborough. Yes, I use market research data.
Nice.
showed 56 billion in consumer spend in retail. I had to do a double take. I was like, what? No way.
Wow.
Because I was looking at travel. We spend 2.1 billion in travel.
For
Something-
hot OC, right?
not for hot OC, for Orange County.
Oh, okay.
Our metropolitan
Okay.
piece of the Los Angeles pie, which we're
Okay.
considered a sliver of, but independently considered a county versus like a PMSA is
I
what they
see.
call it,
Okay.
metropolitan area versus an L.
This
sorry, I'm
stuff
getting
is
on.
so good, but somebody just tweeted and they can't quite hear you now. So I'm going to do what
Oh,
we never do. I'm
sorry.
going to reach in. Let's get you to
So do
slide
I
over
need to
that way.
do I
Oh,
need to
that's
talk a
better.
little bit
That's
louder?
way
I need
better,
to talk
yeah.
a little bit louder.
There you go.
Okay, so basically, and sorry to get so technical, but you know, this was kind of a defining moment because it was almost serendipitous. I
Yeah.
had just got in with Aston Martin at the time, and I was working. Designing their racing tour, and it was so exciting to work with North
Yeah.
America Aston Martin. And we had built our incentive agency as a loyalty program, and that was designed to help create customer appreciation and help for return business and
Right.
retention and new business. So
Right.
a lot of our event strategies were catered to this. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, to make a long story short, you know, 3 years later, here I am, the producer and owner. We ended up finding a great way to reconstruct the show, but it took a lot of help from some wonderful people that we met along the way. The topic in promoting live events. One of the beauty or the skinny on beauty here for us is that when we bring on a sponsor at OC Fashion Week, it becomes a branded experience. And every moment from that point on becomes their ability to communicate their brand to constituents that might be a prospective customer, might be a new partner or franchise owner. To any facet, they start to communicate and they become part of our common language. We like to say, you know, if fashion is a language, style is what we speak.
Right. So
And when
you
we-
actually put the events together with Rod and Kimberly.
Well,
right?
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Rod
'cause
is
there's-
he's on our advisory board, and he
The Fashion
also,
Council Advisory
yes,
Board.
and he also runs his own business as
Yeah.
a luxury interior designer.
Right.
And he has his own agency. But what's really beautiful is that he's also introduced us to say someone like Ziana Wellness. Now his
Other
style.
sponsors,
Right.
Yes.
And his stylescape is his ability to reconstruct, you know, beauty in a whole new way that gives people the living environment space that for everyone to enjoy. And so bringing his eye, it also brings us, you know, a competitive edge as far as how we select our venues, who we bring on
Right.
board, because you know he as guest himself, and it keeps to our a loyalty to this particular luxury market, because Orange County, the way in which we like to present us is
Right.
that we are what makes us separate from, say, Los Angeles or any other county for that matter,
Yeah.
is that we have a luxury
We are
market.
the luxury market.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we communicate in that in all facets. And so each time when we have an event, we have a different, just we're kind of built a little like a TV guide. So all our audiences are different daily. And we do that on purpose because our category of clothing are different. And when our category of clothing are different, that caters to a different audience. And that particular sponsor might want to be on day 2, but might not want to be on day 4.
Right. Right.
You know, so we do that on purpose. So if you go to Fashion Week every single day, you'll find a totally different venue, a totally different audience, and a totally
It's
different
a lot
theme.
of people to put on an event, and I'm sure all the sponsors
Yes.
collaborate together and like, okay, so what's the new trending thing in social media? How are we going to promote this? What are we going to do? I know that Amazing Lash Studios uses influencer marketing a lot.
A lot.
Yes,
lot.
let's talk about
And
that.
yeah, and we will talk about that. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get into all the tips and everything that we have for you for covering your live events.
Thank you.
To talk about how to pull off a live event and make that successful also online. So, Kimberly, if you want to tell us a little bit about like what your favorite tips are for influencer marketing and how to find influencers.
Influencers, one thing that is extremely important is to make sure that they're local. Because if you're trying to use an influencer that's not in your area, it is not going to hit your demographic. You also want to make sure that that influencer is trendy, it understands your brand. So, for example, when we worked with OC Fashion Week, all of the influencers that we used were models of OC Fashion Week. And these girls, not only were they beautiful, but they were current to what we were looking for, and they were very diverse, too. So we looked at girls who were multi-ethnic. They had different interests. Some were very sporty, some were more casual, some were more very office-driven in terms of their style. And what is really important is that we connected them and made them our lash ambassadors. So, in that sense, we not only put lashes on them, but we had them do live stories. We had them record their entire experience through Amazing Lash so that anyone at home could watch and look through their Facebook and social media and experience it at home too. And that inspires them to come in. And on top of that, then they take before and after photos. So when you're doing live events, it's really just important to represent your brand in the right manner and what is current and trendy. But not only that, you want real people. You know, you want people who you can relate to, and that is really important. And not only that, we follow the journey throughout OC Fashion Week. So we don't just drop them. Our lash ambassadors, we keep them forever. And we connect them to the brand, and so they feel connected and they want to come back. And we inspire women to inspire more women, and that's the trend that we want to set. It's a huge domino effect that's really, really, really motivating.
Now, do you have to have like a healthy budget in order to work with influencers, or how does that work for you guys?
It really depends. So for what we did with our lash ambassadors, we actually didn't even really spend that much money. What we offer them is a lot of times to have free lashes. They come in once a month, discounts on products. We offer their friends and families. And in return, what they do for us is, you know, they post about us. A lot of them are bloggers, so they would blog about their experience. We also do referral programs as well, so they can bring in additional friends and family. It's really great and flexible. So we do the same thing with the Charger Girls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the San Diego, now LA Charger Girls. We do the same thing. So you can honestly do it with any brand, any service, any product. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really cost that much. There just has to be some similarity on, okay, what do you want and how can we make it work?
Right. And so I'm hearing a lot of, you know, working with them, building that relationship, right?
Yes.
To build the brand awareness, the brand equity, but it's all about building that relationship with the influencer to where, you know, you feel comfortable, they feel comfortable, and it's a win-win situation.
Exactly.
That's actually so key for a lot of models too, because when they do fashion shoots, sometimes like their whole gas tank, you know, back and forth to LA could be like $70.
Right.
And that's the cost where they're willing to forego, you know, because they can't afford to get the lashes. So kind of, it also works as a great luxury amenity for models, because that little enhancement goes a long, long way. And I like to call it like endless.
Oh, lashes complete your look.
They do.
Any female who knows.
I'm dying that I love mine.
Yes. I mean, if
I'm addicted.
You can't live without your mascara or your strip lashes. But then once you have lash extensions, I guarantee you, ladies, it will change your life. It is so convenient.
Yeah, I have to say.
You wake up and you're ready to go.
Ready to go.
So, Rod, what would you say are some very important things that you should mention during covering a live event?
Let me just start by saying it's really amazing to be in this room right now, because there's a lot of, well, and Paul, but, you know, but
I'm amazed you let me be in the room.
Hashtag man in the curtain.
Isn't that true? But you know, prior to interior design, I have an undergraduate in economics and a master's degree. I burnt out at the age of 20 doing a master's degree in marketing at the Drucker Center. And no, I'm not just name dropping Paul, but
he studied under Peter Drucker, the most famous marketing guru of the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the thing about what you guys were sharing, what you ladies were sharing, is so important. And I think a lot of people make so many mistakes when it comes to influencers and social media presence. And no, I have it's a personal page, not my company page. There is no such thing as personal. Everything is exposed. Everybody is a celebrity of some sort or the other on the internet. If you're spending anything more than 10 minutes on the internet a week, you are watched. People are curious what you do. And so there has to be a strategy behind all of it. And it, like was shared, the target market, the quantifiable, you know, conversion, how do you basically make it a win-win for everybody? So I think that applies across all industries. I think in this particular case with fashion, I mean, I had this very similar experience relevant to getting involved in this, is I was asked to be a brand ambassador for Dave Wells, for Bespoke. And it works for me because I am very much on the scene as far as social media. Some people actually, including my sister, asked me if I would give anybody else a chance to post because I was basically blowing up her feed. right?
Yeah, he's an influencer.
But the thing about it is, it has to be strategic. It has to be applicable to your brand. It has to be, it's not, cannot be fake. That's the other thing too. Is a lot of people put on the persona, but if it's not really you, then it's not going to be authentic. If you're doing it just for the show and then not following up like you shared, where you keep them forever, because that is part of the interest of the story, right? And everybody's bringing in their own voice to your brand.
Especially
or your
with
product.
the launch of social media and the
Right.
evolution, I should actually say, of social media, because everything is being covered live now. Everybody is marketable, right? Like you
Yeah,
were saying,
everybody is
everybody is
media.
media.
Absolutely.
And so everyone is sharing their environment, their life, and taking you inside of that. And so if you have a brandable space, people are going to want to share stories on Instagram and Facebook
Well,
or
and
do live videos.
It also provides you with a competitive edge, because at the end of the day, you're spending top dollar for that real estate. So if your environment does not have a sustainable business model through the environment build-up, the placemaking, then you're looking at an environment that you're going to have to redo more often, which takes away resources from the focus on payroll, merchandise, inventory, etc. So if you actually establish your own identity and brand, whether it's a combination of different things delivered in a different way that reflects directly to the authenticity of you, then you have an environment that's going to have a 5 to 7 year shelf life, which means you can focus all your resources
when
on
covering
making
that live event. I'm hearing a lot of make sure that you do that plug, right? Make sure you have the plug. Make sure you're telling the information. Hey, we're here at OC Fashion Week, wherever it's going to be this
Right.
next year, right? In September. And then making sure that you're actually inviting that user into your experience. What is going on? What's the branding? What's the lifestyle at the event? What's happening? Right?
Exactly. That's mostly it. And, early on, what we had done that kind of one of our earlier challenges as well back in, 2012-13 was bringing a TV station all the way from LA. Would they come down? And I remember having a conversation with CBS, and they were giving me their sales rep. They're like, well, you're going to have to get an ad buy for this. And we're like, 20 grand, what? And just by some really great luck, we were approached by an affiliate of MTV, and we were given 13 episodes to run. And at the time, it was like, CBS, and, and do we get this anchor? Like, wait, how many followers does she have? And we looked, and we're like, wait, our cosmetic sponsor has more followers. We're like, holy cow, let's make her the anchor. And so all of a sudden, our little fashionista now boarding, which began as a fashion tour excursion, then became a blogging forum, then ultimately became the name of our fashion travel TV show. So now what we do is we
Which
feature...
is through OC Fashion Week.
Through OC Fashion Week.
OC Fashion Week produces Fashionista Now Boarding, and that is where you do a lot of coverage around the world on fashion in that town, right?
Yeah, so Fashionista Now Boarding has a segment called Behind the Seams. That show segment highlights everything behind the runways of OC Fashion Week, interviewing fashion designers. And Fashionista Now Boarding highlights all our sponsors involved. And that reaches about 60 million households every Thursday night on Channel 63, KBEH. So we've been very fortunate. And we don't take that for granted, because we know that some people, if they're not watching cable, we also make it available on their mobile phones, in which now we have got about a 66% open rate.
Ooh,
so that
really?
that ability to have both a digital facet and the traditional media facet.
And I can tell you that's a phenomenal
social media
open
too.
rate.
People don't even realize that when you're doing Instagram posts, and I say this to anyone with a brand who is a brand ambassador, if you are putting in a lot of text content, people are just going to scroll through. They're not going to look at that.
No,
it has to be relevant. It has to be eye-catching. It has to be memorable.
Right.
So if you're going to type an entire paragraph and then add 2 more paragraphs with hashtags, forget it.
That's such a good point to make. I see a lot of people that started into the blogging side of things very early on, when blogging was covered wagon days, and they would put on these just run-off page upon page upon page of research and whatever, and they get very impassioned about their topic, but then now they're trying to get social media driven content, and they're doing exactly the same thing they were doing before. And it's just
And how do you read that on a 2-inch screen? Come on. That's the way the world's moved, to the 3-inch screen or whatever it is. And,
especially when you have a lot of people that are older.
Why are you looking at me again?
I will say that...
Older.
Older.
I will say
older.
users on Facebook actually do like a little bit more copy than people on Instagram. So I think keeping it relevant to the platform
Sure,
is
exactly.
really key.
Very
Working
good
with
point.
the brand, they're like, okay, well, I just want you to consult me on this, and I can do it on every channel. And I'm like, well, that doesn't really
not
work
really,
that
yeah,
way. You know,
yeah.
I'm
Very
happy to
true.
consult you, but every channel doesn't work the same way, and your
Right.
followers are rarely going to be crossed over unless you do some really good messaging and branding.
So, Cheryl, I got a question for you relevant to that, okay? So it's not only that they operate differently, but also the time and when you post and is different as well per channel, right?
Yes.
And then what is the deal with people that, is there actually a correlation? I have this theory about, is there a correlation between people that if you post two things, one on Facebook and one on Instagram, the same people that you have as friends will respond to one or the other depending on the actual device brand that they have? I have seen friends of mine that are basically on Apple that never respond to anything on my Facebook, but then they respond to the exact same thing instantaneously on Instagram. And then ones on Samsung that don't do it on Instagram, but they respond on Facebook.
So
That is so
they're
funny.
device
Isn't that funny?
specific. They're
Oh,
device
yeah.
specific.
I mean, I'm just asking that question because
Wow,
it drives
that's
me nuts.
I know, that's hilarious, actually. That's kind of
So
funny.
some social media
Samsung
platforms
people,
work
you.
better on an Apple than they do on a Samsung. Is that what you're saying? Some would work
Well,
better.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Actually, it doesn't have to do with the device. It has to do with where you post it first. So, for example, if you are posting
Brilliant.
a story or anything on Instagram and then you share it to Facebook, there's going to be a delay time. And same vice versa from Facebook to Instagram. So
That's
they're going to look at whatever pops up first.
Question.
On
We
their
have this
feed.
debate all the time. We are essentially a live podcasting platform. We do it live, and we're always debating, should we stick with live? And Facebook and Twitter, everybody's all into this live immediacy, right? What's happening right now? There's an urgency to what? Do you think it's important to create that urgency, not just for them to tell the story right now, but to tune in and see the story right now, as opposed to, I'll just look at this later when I have the time, or listen to it, or watch it, or
I
whatever?
think
It's all-
we usually sell on time and pressure.
Yeah.
Actually
It's all about
thrive.
urgency.
You thrive. You can thrive off time and
Well,
pressure.
Paul, you.
So I'll lead up some of
Yeah.
my strategies. I'll lead up for the show, right? I might do the day before, and do some crowdfunding the day before and sourcing, and then during the actual live show, I'll check in at OC Talk Radio an hour before the show. I'm posting the press, hey, tune in, and then I'm tweeting when it's going on usually. But today,
Too much going
Instagram,
on, yeah, right.
No, Instagram took over today, so you
Right.
guys got my phone.
Right.
But so that urgency, because people want the instantaneous, they want the right now, so they
Right.
want to know what's going on right now. That's why live video is trending, right?
Trending
It's, like,
huge.
so
Zuckerberg says that's
important.
the future of Facebook. That's everybody's going to be not taking pictures as much as they'll be saying, "I'm here right now. Look at this. You don't miss this." The whole premise of Twitter: what's happening right now? This
Well,
second.
even marketing agencies are having to switch, like myself, the services that we offer, because now it's all about video marketing. And a lot of marketing agencies, if they've been around as long as I have, they don't have video marketing. So guess what? I'm learning, and
Yeah.
thank God my undergrad is in video marketing.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's so funny because it's
Film
really
school.
because of that transparency.
Yeah.
People want that real. They don't want something that is overly prepared.
Yes.
Well,
Oh,
and
Like
that-
even like in our shows we
The
don't prepare.
authenticity.
Yeah.
Yes.
say that again. I have so many people want to come in and they want to make these shows perfect. And I said, then they're perfectly boring. Make it real. Make
Yeah,
it
so if
genuine.
they're predictable, then it
Yeah.
becomes kind of like they automatically shut down. I mean, we've basically created a difficult audience, is what's happening.
That's demanding.
Because it's a immediate self gratification. In the moment they get a response, they could buy on the fly, they could shop on the fly, they can, selfie on the fly.
Yeah, and actually, you made me think of something. So going back to what Rob was saying is about, having that authenticity. If you're not authentic in what you're doing, then that's going to come across on everything, and your messaging is going to be all over the place. And so if you have followers that count on you to be a certain way, but that's not really, what the strategy is for what you're trying to do, or that's not really you,
Right.
then they're not going to be interested on your live video feed or what you're doing, because you've gained a completely different audience to what you're trying to do.
Yep.
So making sure that you have that strategy in line before you even start
So
something.
it goes back to your influencers.
And-
You've got to really pick the right people, and they've got to genuinely be
Yeah.
interested. You can't
Yeah.
just dress them up, pay them off,
Yep.
and send them out.
Well, Well, and it goes
Yes.
back to how Kathy started with the OC Fashion Week. I mean, it was just meant to be. You know, that was exactly what was supposed to happen for Hot OC, which is actually, let's spell it and give the URL.
Yes,
Hot.
HAUTEOC is our incentive agency, but OC Fashion Week is our main brand.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So
Is there a-
Hot Hote HAUTEOC.
Hot cuisine.
it's actually not hot cuisine. No,
It's
that's a
just
different
hot.
show. Some-
Smoking.
my friends that are from Paris are like, Kathy, it's Haute OC.
Haute
So,
OC.
yes, absolutely.
So is there a website and all this stuff where we can go see all this, or is this still
Yeah,
to
so if
be?
you go to OC Fashion Week, and we have a brand new website that's going to be launched any day, so we're
Any
really
day.
excited.
Right now, it's happening right now. They're doing it as we're speaking.
Yeah, and we have some brand new partners that are coming on board, so it gets really exciting, and some brand new exciting locations. So we're excited.
Well, I hope you're
about
going to
it.
bring this. Let the skinny on beauty come out and give us the skinny of what they see when
She
they're.
is. Definitely. I'm going to try to get
Behind
one of
the
those
scenes of the
locations.
shows, yeah.
too.
You should come to one of my studios. We can do your lashes for you, and
There
then you
we
can come
go.
and participate at OC Fashion Week as well.
Can I
That
give you an
just
even?
segues to another segment right there. Hello.
Can I give you an
So,
even
right?
crazier idea?
And do a live feed.
What's
do
the
a live
crazy?
Here's an even crazier idea. I don't know if it's possible, but if you could do it here when she's on the air, she could describe the experience. Rod did that with me. He suckered me into bringing a masseuse.
He got
I
massaged
got
in his
massaged
chair.
on the air. And it
Sleeping.
was pretty weird. Yeah. So
Like,
live,
what'd
you
she
could
go?
hear
She
me getting a
said she's
massage.
We
asleep.
could do hyperlapse videos of the process.
Yes,
Oh,
we
yeah,
can
we could do
definitely
that
do it.
speed.
Yeah.
I mean, because I was just like, I was gone. I was like 60 seconds. Like, wow. Hello, Kathy.
I don't think it's the experience she wants when she's getting lashes, Paul. I think she's probably going to want a little bit more serene an environment.
Maybe,
Where
I
what you
don't
say, what you look like,
And if you
all
want to
is
follow
very important.
Rod's aging experience and his journey, his crazy journey, his real life, this is like a reality show on radio. You can listen to The Rad Life every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, or his new show, Check Out California, which is all about the hospitality industry. He's so well versed in hotels and spas and all that stuff.
And
Thank
don't-
you. Go ahead.
Oh,
And
can
then
I put in
Cheryl.
one more plug? And don't forget to watch us on Fashionista Now Boarding every Thursday night at 7 o'clock, channel 63. And if not, you can watch us
Fashionista Now
online.
Boarding.
Awesome
and
stuff,
you can
yeah.
watch
Hot
online
OC.
at Hot
Mhm.
OC.
Mhm.
Yes.
Hot OC.
Hot.
And our
H-A-U-T.
show is actually coming up soon.
Yes.
Actually.
Next Thursday night.
Next Thursday night. Okay, yes. So I'll be on.
Cheryl, how do they reach you?
Fashionista
You
Now-
always forget to
Now
tell us how
Boarding.
if they want a social media guru, a maven, an expert in the fashion world of how to
That's
make all
right,
this
Paul.
happen.
Reach me at unitesocially.org, anywhere across the
I
board.
love that
on
name,
social-
Unite Socially. Isn't that
social
what we're all
media.
trying to do? Unite Socially
Unite
here?
Socially, yep.
Yeah.
And of course, Skinny on Beauty. That is my personal channel and Unite Socially's podcast.
There you go.
Before we close out, Kathy, did you bring your quote?
Uh-oh.
We do. We did. I did. I have
Oh, she
my
did?
quote.
Okay, all right.
So I always like
Do you
to
know
say.
it by heart?
I do. Fashion is a language and style is what we speak.
Ooh.
And when you travel anywhere you go, that style is redefined. And in the end, what we're looking for is ourselves. So we always like to say, discover the world you've been missing.
Ah,
And that's it.
I
in a
love it.
nutshell.
Awesome.
Discover
we
the
hope
world
that-
you've been
And
missing.
what
pretty
the world you're
cool.
missing is you in another
Right.
place,
Right.
in another land, in another
Right.
time. So,
Did you
fashion.
make that one up, or did
She
you
did.
get that somewhere?
Yeah,
You wrote that?
that's her own.
Yeah, that's my. You're
Pretty
gonna have
cool.
to quote
You
that
put
one.
her name after that one.
All
Make
right.
sure,
Quotes,
yeah.
yeah.
I like that.
Quote,
You
quote,
get a-
unquote.
yeah.
So,
All right, and does
it's
does
actually
Kimberly,
on our logo.
does Kimberly have a quote? No, I put her on the spot. Do you have a quote? What do you live by?
Do, but it's not regarding
Could be anything.
necessarily
a
style
quote.
fashion, but my favorite coat, and I actually have it tattooed down my spine.
You do.
I do.
We won't make you
No.
prove that. But
No, she's not going to, Paul.
all right. You have it on your spine. Okay.
Yes.
I saw you had something in your arm, but I didn't know what that was.
Yes, that's another
great.
symbol. But my
awesome.
favorite quote is, "Every man has his burdens. What counts is how you carry it."
Mm-hmm.
Just really speaking about inner strength, pushing through adversity, and really,
We're all about that here.
yeah,
Wow.
and so that's why I put it on my back, because I carry my burdens on my back.
Rod, you might as well throw it in. Do you have a
Yeah,
quote?
Rod, you might.
Really simple, actually. I've always liked this one. Just when whatever you do, aspire to inspire.
Aspire to inspire.
We love,
Love
it.
it.
Thank you, everyone. You've been fabulous to have on the show.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Cheryl.
Thank you
Amazing.
so Thank you for
having us.
Love this show.
Yeah,
Thank
loved
you
it.
to all of our listeners and viewers. Until next time, stay beautiful, Orange County.
Yay.